今そうやって、コミュニティとか自分の近くでそうやって発達のこともリサーチしたりしてるってことなんですけども、今9ヶ月のプログラム、スペクトラっていうのもやってらっしゃると思うんですけど、どうしてそういうことをやっていて、それはどんなことを目指しているもので、さらに今後どういう、展開をしていくものなんでしょうか、トーマスさんの活動が。
So forth.
Yeah, thank you. So for years, I worked at an institute called Pacific Integral, which Terry O'Fallon founded with Jeff Fitch. I worked with Terry and Jeff for several years in their cohort program, which they called GTC. And it's really an amazing program. And as the years went by, I realized that our community needed something a little bit different. So, many of the same principles that apply to Terry's work and Jeff's and GTC apply to Spectra. But one of the big shifts we made, we teach more meditation in Spectra. We want to teach people how to work with states of consciousness more skillfully. That's something I wanted to change because I'm a meditation teacher and I love to do that. And another thing that I felt was really important about creating Spectra was working with what we call the wisdom traditions. What I mean by that is people, for example, a lot of people where I'm from are Christian. So I say, how are you going to work with your Christian identity? What does that mean to you? We had somebody who was a Hindu in our last cohort, and we asked the question, what does it mean to you to be Hindu? And we had another person in our group who was agnostic or atheist, and we say, what does it mean to be in the human tradition of agnosticism to you? So we teach people to like really ground in their traditions, in their lineages. We teach people to connect to their ancestry and feel the power of all of the people who've helped us get to this point in evolution, and drawing from those gifts and that power, how do we make our next move as evolutionary agents, you could say. So Spectra evolved out of Pacific Integral and their work, and it made some unique changes to how we do things. As far as the 9 months goes, we do a 9-month program. I like that 9 months is the same amount of time it takes to gestate a human baby. So it's like giving birth to something. It takes about 9 months to make something new and give birth to it. That's one reason I like. I could name more, but I'll stop there.
ありがとうございます。
そう
トーマスさんがその伝えていきたい瞑想っていうのは、日本でもまあ禅とかマインドフルネスとか少し、そういった瞑想の実践はありますが、伝統的なものもありますが、トーマスさんは、発達理論も統合していると思うので、何か違うことをやってるんだなというふうにも思います。その辺についてまた教えてもらえますか？
And I've done some IPP practice with you, I know, so it's not easy to explain it in 5 minutes. It takes some time, but you're very right. IPP is unique in that it's a meditation system that works with states of consciousness, but it also works deeply with shadow, and it also works deeply with stages of development. So that's something that makes IPP very unique. What's an example? What's an example that will be relevant to this audience? This is tricky. Give me a moment here, because I want to make it good. IPP is a very detailed map of the way that the human being develops. So after working with students for many years, I've developed an intuition. I can start to sense like where somebody's development might not be as robust, might not be as stable as it could be. And if we want to grow into our potential, think of a building. To build a building really high, we have to build really low into the ground to make a deep anchor. So IPP it helps us target the different aspects of our development that maybe aren't as deep and stable and powerful as they could be. And so when we shore up the foundation in a very stable way, it allows people to just more naturally develop into whatever they're meant to become, right? I've known meditative practitioners who have very big insights and have very powerful meditative awareness, but maybe have some developmental vulnerabilities and instability that they haven't quite addressed. And I think IPP could really contribute to the world's meditative traditions by helping people look at themselves in this way and start to notice the aspects of their development that need some strengthening. A specific example, let me give a very specific example, which comes from my life. Working with IPP, I noticed throughout the day when I would get most upset. It was when in a relationship, like with my partner or with a colleague or with a friend, if I felt disrespected, if I felt unseen or misunderstood, there was this feeling in myself that like, oh, I just couldn't stand it. It would drive me crazy. And the IPP map helped me locate like where that was developmentally. It helped me notice that I was avoiding a certain experience that I could learn to relax into, right? So it pointed me right to this vulnerability where I was actually searching for more respect, more esteem from somebody else. But it stemmed from this place where I didn't feel enough love and acceptance of myself. And once I learned to go straight into that and just relax, like when I got really upset, to go deep into it and just relax, I found that I would run into the same situation with my partner. I'd run into the same situation with my friend, with my wife. And instead of like getting really angry and shouting or trying to control them and trying to make them say they're sorry, instead of doing all that stuff, I realized that I could just hold this energy in myself and it would get big and then it would go away. So it was the precision of the IPP map that showed me that developmental layer and that quality of needing to always be seen and understood and respected is right there. And if I work with this still point of trust, it's actually the quality of trust that I needed to hold in meditation. I realized that I could let things come and go a lot more easily. So that's an example of the way the developmental stages come together with meditation, and they show us right where we need to be practicing in our life so that things can start moving again. So it's really interesting that we live in a time in the 21st century where these maps from different traditions are coming together and showing us new ways to grow and develop.
ありがとうございます。